guys, what's up? Hey, today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the snub mount. This happens to be an aftermarket one. It's made by Stern. To do this, you do have to take the front bumper off because you have to take the core support or put it in service position. And again, I like to take the headlights out to help take the front bumper off. Some people do it with leaving the headlights in. First I'll start with, I'm going to remove the weather stripping. Next, I will remove the accordion hose. You don't have to fully remove because you're putting it in service position, but I'm just going to remove it regardless. Next, I'm going to take off the hood release line or the cable. Again, you probably don't have to do this, but I want to get some more room, so I will disconnect the cable line and just put it to the side. The cable line is held in by two clips, and they look like this. This car only had one in it, so sometimes I've seen them where they have none, but make sure you look for these. They come off with needle nose really easily. Just put it to the side. Okay, the next step, I'm going to take off the headlights. Again, some people don't do this. Some people leave them on. I find taking the headlights off, it makes it much easier to take the front bumper off. Now don't forget there is a longer Torx bolt. It's down in this hole right here, so if you look with the flashlight you should see it. A lot of times I find that those are actually missing. I just have a little magnet stick to pull it out. And then this is what it looks like. It's a pretty long Torx bolt for your headlight. Now I'm going to take the headlights and just pull them out. They come out, sometimes they come out pretty hard, but just if you're gentle with it, it should come out easily. And then you could either take the whole light bulb assembly out, or you can use a screwdriver and just undo the clip. I'm going to get this clip, I flip it over. And same thing with the screwdriver. Headlights out. Next I'm going to take out the fog light grills. So we just pull from this inside and they come right out. Sometimes you got to pull a little harder than other times, but okay, hopefully you could see it. There's a Torx that you need to take off right there. Maybe get a better look. It's right there. So that needs to be removed on both sides of the car. And then over here, if you look underneath, that hex bolt right there needs to be removed on, there's one on each side as well. And here are the hex bolts for the bumpers. Okay, now to get the bumper off, there's the clip, there's a top clip and a lower clip, and I'll show you how to loosen the top clip with two screwdrivers. It helps. It makes it real simple. I don't know if you could see it right in there. I'll insert a screwdriver right in there, and I'll loosen that clip up, and I'll show you how to do that. So what you'll do is you'll put a screwdriver right between these two clips, or the clip and the lower part of the bumper, and I'll twist up. See, as I twist up, you can see it move. Now on the other side over here, you'll see a hole, which is right here. There's another clip right there, so you'll insert a screwdriver and do the same exact thing at the same exact time, and this part of the bumper will just it'll peel right off, and it comes off really easy. You'll do it on the other side, and the whole bumper will slide right off. It's pretty easy to do. See, now it's out. I'll do the other side. Next, I'll take the bumper off. Now this car, the washers, the headlight washers, the tube is not hooked up. Usually you would have to disconnect it here as well, but it's not in here. Okay, next we will need to remove the intercooler shrouds, and the reason being is there's these Torx that we need to take off. And again, there's 4 on the passenger side and 3 on the driver's side if it's stock. Next, I'll go ahead and remove the Torx bolts. Another thing I like to do is I use the bumper bolts, and I will put it actually into the subframe here. And this will allow, when you put it in service mode, to slide on it. They make special tools for this, but I find these work perfect. Next, we'll take off the Torx. There's 1 here, and then there's 2 up here, and it'll be the same on the other side. Also, guys, don't forget, we do need to remove the belly pan. Well, you don't have to remove it all the way. You can just remove the front 3 half-quarter screws. Alright, so now you should be able to slide the core support out pretty freely. And we don't need to get it too far. We're not doing, some guys do a timing belt this way. I'm just doing the snub mount, so I don't need to get it out very far. I'm going to go ahead and remove the belly pan the whole way. It'll just make it that much easier, and then I could show you how to remove it from underneath. If you guys look, you could see that this snub mount is completely destroyed. So good thing we're going to change it out. Okay, so next I'm going to start by not removing, but loosening these 4 13mm bolts. All right, those are loose. Okay, so next I'm going to use just a bolt, or you can use a piece of wood, just to push this subframe out of the way so you could actually work on it. And then if you look, this thing is just totally just destroyed. And this is an aftermarket one as well. I don't know why this one's so messed up. Alright, so here's the new one. Let's go ahead and put it in. Alright guys, so if you look here, there's a little ring in here, and then there's going to be a little short side, and then a long side. The short side goes towards the block. And sometimes these could be a real pain to get in. There we go. It snapped in. Got my finger a little bit, but that happens when working on cars sometimes. Now with the snub mount back in, let's go ahead and start putting the car back together. Now I left those 4 13mm bolts loose where the snub mount mounts to. And the reason being is we'll start the motor, let it settle a little, and then I'll tighten those up at the very end, and then I'll put the belly pan back on. Okay, so next I'm going to be putting the Torx bolts back on for the core support. We'll start with the little ones, and then we'll work our way up to the big ones. Now I do not tighten them down, I just finger tighten them until I have all the bolts in where I need to, and then I go ahead and tighten everything down. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the bigger bolts in. Now let's go ahead and tighten them down. Now I do lift up on the core support a little bit just to even it out so the bolts are in the middle, they're not laying on top and ruining the threads. Now I'll go ahead and tighten these ones. Next I'll go ahead and put the intercooler shrouds on. Next I'll put the hood release cable back in. On some cars there's usually a cover that goes over this hood release latch, but this one's missing it as well. After everything's buttoned up on the core support, everything's tightened down, the shrouds are on. Next I'm going to go ahead and put the bumper on. Go ahead and put the little Torx in. Next I'll put the fog light grills in. And I'll put this snorkel on. Alright, so the next thing to do will be to start the motor, let it run for about a minute, and then we'll go ahead and tighten up those 4 13mm bolts on the snub mount. Alright, the motor ran for a minute or so, so now let's go ahead and tighten up those 4/13s. Okay guys, so this is pretty much the final thing. After I tighten these 4 13mm bolts down, I'll put the belly pan back on and the snub mount is installed.